Atheist Roundtable, a gathering place for rational people.
Funny pictures and videos.
Profound atheist quotes.
The religious going crazy.
The latest news.
World domination.
Casual discussions.
Baby eating.
The ultimate forum for a lively dialogue. Come join the fun at atheistroundtable.com.
When religion bans health care. Religious-based hospitals receive over $45 billion U.S. taxpayer dollars per year, according to Merger Watch, a watchdog group that works to protect patients' rights when U.S. hospitals merge. But patients are discovering they lose reproductive health care services and personal decision-making about end-of-life care when secular community hospitals and clinics merge with religiously sponsored hospitals. Low-income women and women of color tend to depend more on hospital and hospital outpatient clinics for their health care. They, along with rural women who might not have accessible alternative providers, are disproportionately affected by religious health care restrictions. Almost all Catholic hospitals, for instance, are located in rural areas. Obstetrician Gynecologists, Religious Institutions, and Conflicts Regarding Patient Care Policies is a survey of 1,800 medical professionals. The study, which appears in the American Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecology, was in part funded by the National Institutes of Health. Its objective is to assess how common it is for obstetrician gynecologists working in religiously affiliated hospitals or practices to experience conflict with those institutions over religiously based policies for patient care, and to identify the proportion of obstetrician gynecologists who report that their hospitals restrict options for treating ectopic pregnancy. The results of the survey showed that among obstetrician gynecologists who practice in religiously affiliated institutions, more than one-third have had a conflict with their institution over religiously based policies. These conflicts are most common in Catholic institutions at 52%. Fewer report that their options for treating ectopic pregnancy are limited by their hospitals, 2.5% at non-Catholic institutions versus 5.5% at Catholic providers. Deborah Stolberg, an assistant professor of family medicine at the University of Chicago Medical School, is the lead author of the study. In a news report on NPR titled "When Religious Rules and Women's Health Collide," journalist Julie Rovner interviewed Stolberg about specific impact to women's health. Stolberg stated that in Catholic facilities, restrictions on and prohibitions against abortion are the rule, but it doesn't end there. Physicians who participated in the study reported to her in personal conversations that in religiously affiliated hospitals, the most frequent issues arise around birth control and sterilization, particularly for women who want to be sterilized just after giving birth. Those are things that most OBGYNs support giving to women, and they want to be able to offer them to women, Stolberg says, and they are completely prohibited at Catholic hospitals. Women who undergo cesarean sections, he says, are often forced to go to a separate hospital and have a second surgery, complete with the further risk of another round of anesthesia. It is not medically good for a woman to have two surgeries when she can have one, she says. Only 2.9% of physicians treating ectopic pregnancies face restrictions for religiously based hospitals. With Catholic providers, it was 5.5%. An ectopic pregnancy occurs outside the uterus, usually in a fallopian tube, and is life-threatening to the mother. While laparoscopic surgeries to remove these non-viable pregnancies are common, a less invasive drug therapy utilizes methotrexate, which is 90% effective in qualified cases. Stolberg questions whether methotrexate therapy will face resistance with religious-based hospitals swept up with abortion bans. Stolberg is aware that the survey results bring up more specific questions about quality of care in religiously based hospitals, and plans for follow-up research are formulating. Religion destroys a Texas family. This is the story of Jordan Clipston, his ex-partner Samantha, and their daughter Ariel, as was told to us by Jordan. He claims to be an agnostic, fighting against Christians for his rights as the father of a child. Here is his story as it was told to our reporters. He and Samantha were in a relationship for 5 years. Both claimed to be agnostic from the beginning. Jordan describes their first 3 years together as wonderful, but the relationship started to turn sour when Samantha became pregnant. During that time, Samantha's father returned home from military deployment, a born-again Christian. His newfound faith was immediately forced upon every aspect of planning for the baby. Suddenly, the child was to be a God-fearing Christian. Even choosing a name became a clash between secular and religious ideas. The constant religious intrusion became a point of conflict, that eventually drove Jordan and Samantha apart. On the day that baby Ariel was born, Jordan signed many documents as a father, but he was told that the birth certificate would be filled out another day. In Texas, the father is not automatically listed on the birth certificate unless he is married to the mother. Both parents must sign an acknowledgement of paternity to add an unmarried father to a birth certificate. Over the next 2 years, Samantha repeatedly refused to sign the acknowledgement of paternity. For 2 years after Ariel's birth, Jordan worked 2 and sometimes 3 jobs to support his family. Samantha was unable to work because of postpartum depression. After 2 years of living in these conditions and saddled with debt, Jordan could no longer afford to support his family alone. Samantha and Ariel went to stay with her parents, but this arrangement soon ended after a physical altercation between Samantha and her mother. Ariel and Samantha went to California to stay with relatives. Meanwhile, Jordan downsized his expenses, moved into a studio apartment, and eventually got back on his feet. Samantha opened 2 separate child support cases against Jordan, but immediately closed them for fear of legitimizing his paternal status. Samantha's parents forbade Jordan from visiting his daughter in California. Despite this, he visited and sent money as often as possible. A massive controversy erupted in the family when the grandparents learned that he had visited Ariel against their wishes. While in California, Samantha met a man who eventually became her husband. As the wedding approached, the family intensified their efforts to keep Jordan away from his daughter. After many email and telephone exchanges with Samantha, she blocked all communications and moved out of state. The last time Jordan saw Ariel was in August of 2009. The last time he heard her voice was in January of 2011. Since that time, he has been trying to reconnect with his daughter. In February 2012, Jordan initiated a child support case in an attempt to reconnect with his Ariel and provide for her. The grandparents immediately responded by suing to terminate his parental rights, claiming child abandonment. They are also seeking Ariel's adoption by Samantha's new husband. Jordan struggled to scrape together enough money to hire an attorney, but was not sure how to pay for a protracted legal battle. Seeing his desperation, his girlfriend Emily created the Help Reunite Ariel and Jordan Facebook page to raise money for legal expenses. The initial goal of $1,100 was quickly surpassed. As of last week, he had received $2,541 from 81 donors. In expressing his gratitude to supporters, Jordan said, "This whole thing left me hurt and angry. Over the years, the hurt slowly turned to helplessness. Because of the outpouring of support, I now have hope and strength."